My name is Cory Infinite, and this is just a little bit about me. So in the beginning, born and raised right here in Kansas City, Missouri. We have a little bit of foreshadowing going on right here. Sorry about that. Some foreshadowing going on. I've always loved art and I've always loved fashion my entire life. My mom wrote a little journal about me. She's actually back there and now she's helping me sell some books that I brought. But she wrote a little journal about me when I was younger and had about like 15 pages. And one of the pages, she wrote down that I was very particular with the clothing that I wore and that I would change my outfits multiple times a day. And I was when I was 3 years old. So fashion is something that has always been a part of my life, and making art as well. And my mom, she was a brand strategist and on marketing team for Coca-Cola back in the 90s. So I think just kind of inherited that mindset, that business mindset from my mom. And then my dad is someone that can make anything with his hands, build decks and was a carpenter and stuff like that. So I think a lot of the time, people just kind of inherit those skills. So I kind of, combine both of them to create my brand. And so in the beginning, I was just drawing, little doodles every day from zero years old all the way up until maybe first grade, just doodling all the time. And then around second, third grade, I got super into origami. I was folding paper nonstop, and that's what I thought my whole life was going to be, folding paper, maybe Hallmark or something, folding pop-up cards. And then I entered middle school and I started to realize I really loved kind of reselling things and just kind of venturing into that business landscape. And so I started this little eBay account called Cory's Kicks back in middle school, and I would just either go to thrift stores or just find shoes for cheap and then flip them and kind of resell them. But I had a love for them as well, so I was just wearing crazy sneakers all the time. So these are just some screenshots from that. Then throughout my life, I just kind of evolved through different mediums of art. Went from drawing and then into the origami, and then around my freshman year of high school, I got a camera and just started. Actually, I got a flip phone a little bit earlier than that, maybe around 13, 14. I was taking pictures everywhere, and so just had a love for capturing moments. And so here's just a few examples of just me and my friend exploring Kansas City and just going to abandoned buildings and taking photos and just having fun and just kind of capturing the beauty within everyday places or places that are falling apart. I think that is something that continue to go over and carry over into what I'm making now. Just trying to reuse things that are maybe seen as trash to some people and whatnot. So yeah, it was really into just exploring and doing photography, and those are just a couple of examples of that. I was around freshman and sophomore year of high school. And then I got really into just concerts and portrait photography. Me and my friend Nick, again, we were just literally doing anything we could to get into concerts. We were just pretending to be photographers for different news stations and stuff. And we were just finessing and just doing what we could to get in because we couldn't afford a ticket. So we did what we could and we got in most of the time. And this is just a couple of examples. This is obviously you know who that is. Bumped into my mom's backstage at a concert in 2019. He was just randomly there, and so that's why my mom's was up there. And then so here's a couple more examples. The guy in the middle is my friend Brendan from high school. Just was taking portraits of my friends in high school, going to concerts, and just expressing myself through capturing moments and things that I enjoyed. And that was around junior, senior year of high school. And then in my senior year of high school, COVID that because I was bored. Like after the concerts got shut down, I was just like using photos and stuff just like that I had and like different like albums that I listened to. Just kind of made collages. Anyway, fast forward a little bit to my fashion class senior year of high school. Want to give a special thank you to my teacher, Mrs. Sylvie. She's the one that taught me like the basics of how to use an in-home sewing machine. And so this was like the first piece of clothing I ever made back in 2019. And for the final, she was like, just like make one piece of clothing. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just like I want everyone to make a piece of clothing. So that's what I ended up doing. I just went to a thrift store, found like a tapestry blanket, and cut it up and turned it into a little sweater. So that's where it started. I was wearing, the pieces that I would make to school, and some of my friends were asking, like, can I buy this? Like, I want to like wear this stuff too. And that kind of pops the thought in my head, like, okay, if my friends want to buy these pieces, like that means I can probably sell these to other people around the world too. And so, graduated high school, 2020, and I was working at IV up in Liberty, just pushing carts, and I was very lucky to have a dad just kind of like let me create in this room that we had. And I was just like working at the grocery store job. I'd get off work and I'd come home and just like sew all day, like just all the time, just like sewing clothes. And I was also posting it online. I knew like when I graduated, I didn't want to go to art school or college just because that structure I never really liked. And I always kind of just liked the freedom of doing my own thing and stuff. And so also I didn't really like the 9-to-5 jobs I always had. I just kind of would always be like super anxious and like dread them and whatnot. And so I was like, okay, I gotta like figure something out. I gotta work hard at like my own thing. And so started this little Instagram account. I was just like posting sweaters, and I was gaining some traction and momentum. And here's a picture of the room at my dad's house. That's how it looked when I started, and that's what it turned into after a few months. Just some mountains of fabric that started to pile up. But yeah, thank you to my dad for just like giving me that space and also capturing it. So that's what I was doing when I started. And then there was a girl that like started following me around this time, and she had like 14 million followers, and I was like, what the heck? Like, I'm gonna just like message her, see if she sees it. So long story short, I ended up sending her a sweater in exchange for like a post and like to tag me. And she posted like a picture of her wearing my sweater and tagged me. And I was in the parking lot of my grocery store job pushing the carts when I got the notification, and my phone was just like blowing up. I gained like 3,000 followers in one night, and then the next day I went back to work and put in my 2 weeks, and I haven't been back to Thank you so much. And so I was kind of just like making these sweaters, like I was saying. So this is how I do it. This is the secret. Walmart.com has like custom tapestry woven blankets. You can upload your photo to it, and you just print it. They'll print it out so you can ship it to your house in like a week. And so I was designing these blankets with a front, back, and sleeve design, and then I would cut them up and sew them into sweaters. And so that's what you see here. And I got into a routine of doing that kind of like every single day, making one, designing one, ordering it, shipping it, like posting it online, just like really just was doing that a lot. And so here's some more examples of that. And then, so I kind of got tired of that, just that repetition of like sewing the same thing. So I was like, okay, I want to like switch it up. And so I started to just go to thrift stores and just find random like things. And it wasn't like super complex sewing or anything. I was just kind of like styling things in like fun, unique ways that I enjoyed. And so I would post like 5 times a day for like 4 months straight online because I knew I had to get my art out there if I wanted to make it. Like there wasn't another option. Part of the motivation is like I don't want to be like stuck at a 9-to-5 job. I want to do my own thing and like be able to like live off that and stuff. So I was like, okay, the attention is online right now. So just started posting all the time, making stuff. Built an account up to like 50,000 followers, and I think it just got like deleted randomly. And so I restarted. It was like when you get knocked back, like when you get knocked down, it's like if you love it, it doesn't matter. You just gotta keep going. And so that's what happened. And and now we've been able to just grow it well past that. here's a couple examples of that. This is a trench coat, or this is a trench coat just from fabrics that I found at an antique store, and then all the fabrics on the jumpsuit. I call it the Tree of Life jumpsuit. Just found fabrics from thrift stores and places like that, garage sales. Here's some more examples of different, upcycled pieces. Made a little mask out of paper, kind of just like going back onto the origami passion that I had. It's still there, it's still there. And then just a little vest that I just appliqued lace over, just a little hunting vest, kind of fun. This is a fun one. Made a little like jacket, conceptual, kind of relating to like the Windows XP and like just like the pop-up windows that, just like drag across your screen, just kind of like copied and pasted like the socks and like the t-shirts and stuff. So that's a pretty fun one. Did it to the tags. Then I'll talk about this piece a little bit more later on, but just like a jacket I made out of trash. There's some pants just from found fabrics that I made, just kind of appliqued diamonds onto pants. I call them the leopard blossoms. Here's some more pants, and that's just all, again, thrifted, secondhand kind of stuff. This is a jacket that I found at a garage sale. It's just an old welder's jacket. And just kind of like apply different jewelry to the jacket that I found from just places like thrift stores. And I just found this clock at a garage sale that I cut in half and then just applied to the shoulders because it looked nice, Just kind of like, that's what I do. I just try to follow that excitement, whatever's like catching my eye, and like at these different places that I go to, it's just like, okay, like I wanna use that, I wanna do this right now, I wanna, turn this into that kind of thing, just follow that flow. Made a mask out of buttons, and then this hat is made from Ethernet cables. My dad works at a company downtown that's always throwing away e-waste, and so I told my dad, grab as many Ethernet cables as you can, they're throwing away. And so I cut them up and sewed them to a hat. I call it the Ether hat. Here's some masks that I've made, just a motherboard, little attachment, and inside of the lacrosse helmet. This technique of sewing is called smocking. It's like a hand stitch technique that's been around for hundreds of years. I just used it on a mask. The red beading for the eyes is from a bracelet that broke apart that I found at the thrift store, and I just kind of hand stitched it back onto the mask. So that's pretty cool. Got this jumpsuit, just from found fabrics, just a collage. Definitely one of my favorite like jumpsuit applique pieces that I've made, and I don't think I'll ever sell it. I really love it. I was just at a thrift store one day, and I was just like shopping around, and I see this like I see this radio just like from far out, and I'm like, that's a face. Like that needs to be on my head right now. And so grabbed it, went home immediately, and I gutted the inside of it, all the like motherboards and stuff, and sewed a mask and just attached it to the mask, and it worked perfectly. It fits like perfectly. So that's the Radio Mantis mask. And then about 2.5 years ago, I moved out of my dad's house and moved into my own small little rental home up in North Kansas City. And that's what it looked like when I moved in, nice and clean. And that was kind of looks like that second photo of my dad's house. Just like sewing machines, different equipment. So that's the front door. Right when you walk in, you get hit with the lab. Like this is where everything gets created, cut up, and sewn, just right on that floor. So it's kind of like a half living room situation kind of thing. And so that's where I'm at now. Continue to just, make upcycle pieces. This is a trench coat that I found. It's like an old military trench coat that I appliqued cards to. I found it was like a big tapestry with cards all over it. I thought it was really cool. Just kind of appliqued it to that. Here's a trench coat, just more found fabrics that I did. I got, into just making like trench coats for some reason, just like the silhouette and the fit. That's what it looks like on the back, just like this seamless little design. Made a fun little jersey out of just like numbers and letters and stuff. Just wanted to make like an all sports themed outfit. I don't have a suit inside, so we would. Made a pair of pants out of table runners, kind of just some court jester vibe kind of thing. And then back in summer of 2023, me and my roommate at the time made a pair of pants covered completely in pennies. What we would do is, my dad has a drill press in his basement because he was a carpenter, and so I would go down in my dad's basement and drill these pennies one by one 7,000 times. And so it took us about 200 hours to complete. We fastened them to the pants with zip ties and just like a pair of car pants on the bottom. So yeah, it weighed in at like 40 pounds. You have to wear suspenders, so it's a workout. Then I made a jumpsuit right here. You can see it in person, the keyboard jumpsuit. 6,500 keys. Again, my dad's work is always throwing away e-waste, so that's where I got these keyboard keys from. And yeah, not too much else to say about that keyboard jumpsuit. Here's a cool photo. My friend Evan Johnson, he attends Mizzou. He's a photographer, so talented. He actually did all the photography for my new book, and he took some of these photos that you're seeing. So thank you, Evan. Little outfit we made out of belts. Just like sewed a bunch of belt loops down to some jeans and a jean jacket, and just fastened belts to it. Again, the technique smocking. Just wanted to make an entire outfit covered in it because I love the way that it looked. Just creates such a fun, texture and feeling. So smocking set took me about 130 hours. Here's some up close details of that. Everything is like hand stitched to create that effect. It's kind of cool. You like dot out a grid onto your fabric and like sew the points together. Pretty cool. Then I made a piece out of. So the inside is like motherboard it's like keyboard membrane, and then the wires are from like keyboard wires, and the heart. It's kind of inspired by like anatomy, like the human, just like vein system and whatnot. So that's that. And then the arm guards are from ski boots that I sawed the heel off of, and the toe. I really loved like the way ski boots looked. Like I always thought they were really cool looking, and so I was just like, I want to incorporate this somehow in like a creative way in one of my pieces. So that's how I did it. Here's an up-close shot of the jacket. Just found materials from thrift stores and stuff. This pair of pants, smocking denim. This is the hardest this is the hardest piece I've ever had to make. It's super just like thick material, and having to like hand sew through like 6 layers when you're smocking of like denim is really labor intensive. I had to like take pliers every stitch and like pull and go through the fabric with pliers and stuff. So smocking them. This is a little applique suit, and I made a fan mask from a fan that I found at a garage sale. Pretty fun. It actually moves. It's attached to a pulley system that you can like pull the lever down, and it like opens the mask and closes it. So, yeah, pretty fun. This outfit I'm actually wearing right now. I call it the basket weave tie outfit. Just ties that I found at thrift stores that I weaved together and sewed to the pattern of pants and jacket that I made. And then the Ethernet hat again. And then I ended up, since I love the hat so much and the texture that it created, I went and made an Ethernet purse. And the handle of the purse is actually made from the inside. If you break open, you can kind of see the wires like in there, like the colorful wires. So I would break like the casing of the wire and take those mini wires and use it as like a handle. So that is the Ethernet purse, the ethers. Then me and my friend and some custom tuxedos that I created just from scratch out of upcycled materials. Just some nice little photos I got of one of them. The end of that is like from a curtain rod, like that little centerpiece is like the end of a curtain rod that I found. Just trying to find ways to use things in, creative ways. This outfit I made covered in trophies. Shout out to Scraps, Kansas City, if you've ever been there. You know what's up. I still have literally bought all their trophies. So, I'm the winner. I did not win these. So yeah, just made a whole outfit because I really loved like the way it looked. So the gold is just like super eye-catching, and yeah, just really loved it. So that's the inside of the coat. So I had to kind of like put like foam on some of the ends of it because it was kind of uncomfortable. And the inside lining, I like to say, is the confetti for all the wins that you just achieved. Here's some of you may know Erica Badu. She's a good friend, and she has she's the best. So she ended up buying that piece. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but that's her and a little headpiece that I made. And then made a little we call it the wooden hoodie or the straddle hoodie, and we put like a little word search for people to have fun with and stuff. And then this is like my most recent piece, made a hat covered in puzzle pieces that I literally just like sewed down with the hat, and then some puzzle pants just out of jeans that I sewed together and appliqued through just sewing actually through the puzzle pieces on the pants. That's what it looks like on the sewing machine. So that's kind of all like the things that I've made so far, and so here's just a little bit about like the achievements that have happened along the way. I've been doing this for 5 years now, ever since I graduated high school, and back in 2021, people were tagging me in this post, and they're like, hey, like one of your masks is on like Vogue Germany, and I was like, what the heck? And so I looked it up, and sure enough, this rapper UFO 361, he's like a German musician, and was just wearing my mask on the Vogue Germany website, and also wore it in one of his music videos, so that's that. I got reached out to by the stylist for the rap group, the Migos, and these were masks that I made for them. They ended up not wearing them because there was someone else that went with the camo theme at the festival they were performing at, but it's still fun to just show. My friend Aiden flew me out to California, super cool, young, talented musician. That's just me styling him for some album art, and then that was him on a billboard in Canada that I styled him for. Some of you might know a musician named JPEG Mafia. Big fan of his work. That's him in one of my masks. And then he actually bought that mask. I actually turned a mask or seed into a mask, so that's what that middle one is. And then he actually commissioned me to make a keyboard mask, and it's kind of like, it's cool because the beard like kind of bounces up and down and stuff. That's him on stage performing the mask. That was the runway back in 2022. It's still like one of the best days of my life. So fun, so much love just filled in that room. And it was at a wedding venue up in Liberty called Heritage Hall. But we made it work. It was awesome. Then October 2022, Kendrick Lamar's stylist reached out and requested these pieces. I have yet to see him wear them, so maybe we'll see him wear them. I don't know. Some of you might know the musician Young Lean. He reached out to me on Instagram. I was like, hey, I love your work. Would you want to make me a jumpsuit? And I'm a big fan of him, so I was like, yes, like absolutely. So that's the first jumpsuit I went with. He was like, I like it, but I wanted something a little bit more simple. So it's like, okay. And so we ended up going with this jumpsuit, and this is Young Lean on the stage of Coachella wearing my jumpsuit, and you can go see that performance on Coachella's YouTube page. So shout out to Young Lean. And then this is like a funny little like meme that kind of blew up with him. And then so summer of 2023, you might be wondering what like Town Topic, A$AP Rocky, and this like Fallout tent is doing. I was just like hanging out with my friends one night, and we were just like, let's get a bite to eat. So we went to Town Topic at like midnight. We're just hanging out. This guy comes up to us. He's like, hey, where'd you guys get these outfits? We're like, oh, we made them. He's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I got this dude I'm shooting a music video for. He's gonna love this stuff. I was like, sweet man, and kind of just kept saying it without like saying who it was for. I was like, who? I got to a point like, who are you talking about? And he goes, it's A$AP Rocky. It's like, what's he doing in Kansas City? He goes, he's shooting a music video and also shooting a commercial for Beats by Dre. And I was like, what the heck? And so, long story short, I get hired on to come out the next day and get hired to style A$AP Rocky and all of his models and just my pieces and just that I have on hand. So that was just such a crazy experience to be a part of, such like the biggest production I've ever seen with my own eyes, and just be a part of it was really cool. It was just like one of the dressing rooms kind of looks like my room. Super Then one of my favorite bands, Rockhampton, one of the members reached out to me and was like, hey, like, would you design some merchandise for me? And so I designed his merchandise back in 2023. So thank you, Rockhampton. Thank you, Merlin Wood. Then me and my friend Tizo, he was on tour with Travis Scott back in 2023. They came here on tour at the T-Mobile Arena. This is me and Tizo just hanging out, and we shot like a little video in like the green room. And made him some custom pieces. This is some keyboard, I call them the key pads. Tizo's big on just wearing like football pads and stuff, and so made those for him, and then I made him a pair wear spike clothes. You see him wearing those for a magazine. And then that's him on stage wearing a Chiefs jersey that I sewed for him. That's Travis Scott of him. And then I was at a point like March 2024 where I was just like getting down to like my last dollars, and I was just like stressing. I was like, man, like I don't know what I'm gonna do. And so I was like, okay, I'm not here to stress, I'm not here to worry, I'm here to make stuff, and wherever life takes me, I'm here to like appreciate no matter what. So I was like, I kind of just gave that up. I gave that anxiety up, that worry to God, and just I was like, okay, it's gonna be okay. Like, I know I've been with, I haven't had a 9 to 5 job in a while, but like if it needs, if I need to go back or something, it's a part of the journey. So I just kind of gave that stress up, and literally like a couple weeks later, I ended up just selling these pants for $7,500, the penny pants. So yeah, just really, really blessed to just have people supporting and just like, yeah, keeping my life afloat, my brand afloat and stuff. So last summer, so summer of 2024, hosted a trash cleanup in the Kansas City West Bottoms, and I told everybody just to save the bottles and cans for me, and I ended up taking the bottles and cans and turning them into a jacket. So thank you so much to everyone that came out to clean up. I do want to do another one. I want to maybe like eventually get into like an annual or like maybe more frequent. That'd be cool. Then ended up being on, somebody reached out from the Kansas City Star, and I ended up on the cover of that. I did a little article about me, so thank you, Kansas City Star. And then from that, the Fox Store reached out, was like, hey, we saw your article on the Star, we'd love to bring you in, so that's me on Fox. And then from that, Kansas City Magazine reached out, wearing the same outfit right now. And I was the cover of the Kansas City Magazine, and did a little article about me. And just super grateful for everyone that is in Kansas City and appreciates the art. And then, so Erica, my friend Erica, some of you might know her. That's her, me and her, she ended up buying a trash jacket off my website. I was like, Erica, this is gonna be like extremely hard to ship. I'm not gonna be able to fit this in my box. And so I was like, can I like either, hand deliver this to like you or one of your representatives? And she was like, you know what? Just pack up your whole car with all of your art and I will shop. And I was like, awesome. So yeah, my mom packed up my car and drove down to Dallas to her house, and she's the most sweet person ever. She invited me and my mom into her house, cooked us dinner the first night that we were there, invited us back over the next day to hang out for more, and like she hired her photographer and a videographer to come over and just film us hanging out and just like trying on clothes and just like doing photo shoots. She's the best. She was constantly bringing out charcuterie boards. Treating us so good. So thank you so much, Erica. I love you so much. Then she gifted me a few of her hats, and I actually ended up making a custom hat for her that she commissioned me out of for the hats. Just again, the smocking technique that I used. Then September of 2024, I met my favorite band, Magdalene Bay, and a lot of their music, I'm inspired a lot by music, and so their music definitely just led into the artwork that I was creating, so I was really just stoked to be able to like give them some pieces that they inspired me to make. Then the drummer actually commissioned me to make a jumpsuit for him, so this is my friend wearing a jumpsuit that I made for the drummer of Magdalene Bay, but yeah. And this is the drummer wearing a jumpsuit on live television on Jimmy Kimmel Live, so super, super cool. Then I made a jacket completely covered in spoons, and I donated all the money from it to a local charity right here in Kansas City that gives back to hunger. So yeah, super awesome and super, super blessed to be able to do that. And the guy who bought it actually hung it in his house as a chandelier, which is really cool. Then this Netflix star, she's a Brazilian Netflix actor. She reached out. She's like, "Hey, I want a spoon jacket." I was like, "I already sold that." She's like, I was like, "I could make you a fork jacket." So that's Jessica Cayenne is her name. So I made her a custom fork jacket. And then you guys might know the book or like the brand, the magazine and the show, or at least believe it or not. They actually reached out to me and were like, "Hey, can we get a spoon jacket?" I was like, "Already sold." Can we get a fork jacket? I said, "It's already sold." I was like, "I could make you a fork spoon knife jacket." So that's what we did here, and I have yet to hear back on where this will be displayed, which Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum, but it will be on display, hopefully sooner than later, at Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. And then, these are some drawings that I did as a kid. Thank you so much to my mom, I love you so much. She kept a little container of all of my art and all of my drawings as a kid. And so I dug into my container and found these drawings from when I was like 6 years old. I just loved Converse my whole life. And this is when I was, I said, my favorite shoes are Converse. So, real young kid, yeah. And so I posted these, that's what I'm wearing right now. I call them my Infinity Converse. I'm just stitching them back together, I'm gonna wear them forever. So I posted these and I told people to told my fans and followers and family members to tag Converse. And we got their attention, and I ended up the next day getting an email from their agency, and they reached out and they're like, hey, we want you to make a custom Chuck Taylor in your own style. And so that's what I did with these. I made a Chuck Taylor out of keyboard membrane. So shout out Evan Johnson again for photography, making my art look awesome. So that was the first collaboration that I did with Converse, a little upcycled Chuck. Then they reached back out in January of this year, and this is another pair of shoes that I made. And got these little dolls that you can attach to the sneakers. There's a local designer named Jeremy Scott. I'll talk more about that, but he does teddy bears and stuff on his shoes, so I was really inspired by him to just make my own little sneaker buddies. That's me and bro. And then he's wearing the shoes that I'm wearing. Yeah. And then the keyboard, little keyboard guy. Another angle of the Chucks that I made, all just found fabric in thrift stores and stuff like that. Another angle. Then got to meet Jeremy Scott at his gallery that he opened up. It's been open all summer. I highly recommend it if you like anything creative. It's at the Nerman Museum in Overland Park, Kansas. Go check it out. It's the last day for it is the 26th. So super grateful to just meet him. He's so nice, such a nice dude. He's done huge collaborations with so many different brands, so many different people, and he's still he's got that Midwest spirit. So just thank you, Jeremy Scott. He literally, he allowed me to just take his time, sit down with him at lunch and just pick his brain with questions. So just super awesome guy. And also, special thank you to Catherine Bernhardt. It's the gallery's in collaboration with her, with all of her amazing paintings. So go check that out if you have time. The last day for the gallery is 26th. And then, some of you guys might know the Museum of Kansas City, super legendary museum right here in Kansas City. It supports all local artists. For my book release back in May of this year, I did a little gallery showing. So here's some outfits that were on display. So thank you so much, everyone at the Museum of Kansas City. Everyone there is so sweet and loving and just awesome. So super blessed to just be able to do something like that. And then throughout this whole journey over the last little over 5 years, I've made 2 books. This is the first one I did, super just on the cuff, just do it yourself. I did it, me and my friend did it. I don't know, I love it, but this new book that I just created is definitely a different level of just quality, and so super happy with it. My mom is actually in the back if you guys want to support. You can't buy the book. The hardcovers are $80, the soft covers are $50. So this is just a little collection of a lot of my favorite pieces and just different excerpts of my creative process and little stories that I have. So it's the book. Here's the inside of the book, and just a couple slides. I will say with all this success, I was still just working on my own. I don't have anybody working for me, and I'm still in that little rental house, and so it is a struggle to find that next paycheck sometimes. But I know it's a really good thing because it's teaching me lessons, and it's just a part of the process and that uncomfortability. But anyway, so that was the end of that. The end takeaways I want to leave you guys with. I created this brand and was able to just combine all the things that I already loved as a kid and implement that back into my brand and stuff. And something that I've learned along the way is friends and business don't always mix. It's better to have conflict with someone than to allow them to take advantage of your kindness. And so this was kind of challenging for me because I always want to have good like vibes with everyone. I don't want to have any conflict with you, you know, like life is not about that. And some people just, I don't know, I've learned that don't fully understand that and will try to, you know, take advantage. And there are people that are out there for different reasons and stuff. And so I just kind of have to learn to protect myself and protect my brand and my art and my dream. And so, yeah, sometimes better just step away than to allow people to take advantage of you, I would say. Just, it's a really hard thing because you just want to have fun and make stuff and like love everyone. Always have your agreements in writing. Thank you to my mom for always looking over contracts and stuff for me. Such a blessing. And then the four most important things I want to leave you guys with today is know what your gift is. You know, I think if you don't know, think back to like what you loved as a kid. I think, you know, I think when we're kids, it's natural for us to like go to what excites us. And so, what did you love as a kid? You know, think back to that, or just what's that thing that fills you with the most excitement? And once you figure that out, it's time to apply that to your life. You know, work hard. Like that's what it's about. Is actually using your gift, using your voice and your perspective to make this world a better place and to fill it with more coffee, more cool stuff, more love. You know, we have to have optimism. It's so important. Having optimism will give you that just leverage to just like it'll take you wherever you need to be. And I think also having that perspective of being comfortable wherever you are is important and is in alignment with optimism. Just like no, even if you're in a tough spot, like you know that's just how life goes sometimes, and it'll all be okay if you have that perspective. You can learn from everything. I think looking at life in a way that is like whatever you go through is just like a lesson. Like just remember, there's always lessons within everything. So yeah, that's what I'll say about optimism. Just look at it from glass half full instead of glass half empty. It'll make a difference. And fourth and most importantly, faith. If I didn't have faith, I wouldn't be up here. I wouldn't start a business. I would be at a grocery store pushing carts right now. And so believe in yourself, believe in your heart, believe in God, believe in you, and believe in just like what you're creating. And that I don't know if you're confident in it, which you should be, and like you love it. I think that I don't know. The faith will kind of come natural if you put these things together and stuff. So I think just find that thing you can put that faith in and just follow the excitement. And yeah, that if you want to follow me on my journey, my Instagram and my website is Cory Infinite. On Instagram and TikTok, Cory Infinite. And thank you so much.
We have a little time for some Q&A. First, I have some questions. Oh, wait, that was amazing. You are okay. These are just some things I jotted down. Do you have a specific vision for your more experimental projects? Now, because some of them come out pretty creative. Do you have a specific vision, or do you kind of flesh it out as you go?
Definitely flesh it out as I go. I think when you start to add like specifics, especially if you're like starting a piece, it can just like, I don't know, it's good to sometimes have those limitations and like boundaries that you want to like focus. You know, I want to make a pair of pants and like apply, you know, ties to them or something, just like having like that. I think when I'm creating though, it's like this natural discovery. I don't sketch anything out. I don't design. I just like get hands-on right away. I go to the fabric. I go to my fabric pile, my mountain that I have, and I just grab stuff and cut it up and just like follow whatever is like interesting and exciting. And I think that does start to, you know, at the thrift store, at the garage sale, I'm like looking at these fabrics or this like radio. It's like, okay, this is interesting right now. have a specific theme, and that's kind of a part of the brand. It's like, my brand is Cory Infinite. There's no limit, there's no like form to it. It's like one day I can make a jumpsuit covered in or some keyboard keys, the next day I can make a tie outfit. It's just like whatever is like catching my eye and is most exciting to me in that moment. And I can see myself, getting into like furniture and just anything. I like to not have that like limitation and just kind of like follow free flow that excitement.
Can you tell us what you're working on right now? Are you working on anything interesting?
Right now, I actually this is aside from art, but I actually just proposed to my girlfriend. So yeah, I mean, I'm always in my house, sewing, cutting things, breaking things apart. I just got another load of like e-waste from my dad's work, so I think I'll probably be diving into some more, recycled e-waste pieces and stuff. So yeah, just I don't know, just always just trying to follow that excitement. Yeah.
Well, if you need a venue for your reception, what have you not done yet that you really want to do, like a kind of medium or undertaking?
A lot. There's so much. There's specific visions that I have for like different ways. I think there's that. Oh, we're back. I think doing like a runway with like I've never seen someone do a runway on like water. I want to like get like plastic floor on like a beautiful body with like still ocean water or something. And do like a walking on water runway kind of vibe thing. Like I think that would be super cool. That's like a big dream of mine, something like that. It's just an idea right now, but that would be really awesome. Definitely want to get into like furniture and just like I think that's the fun thing about being just like an artist. You don't have, I don't know, for me at least, it's like the freedom of like not even knowing is exciting, and then following that discovery is where I get that like joy and that fulfillment. So I don't know. I think it's just like I bump into those kind of things. I just like they come to me as I'm just like naturally working. Like I'll bump into these incredible humans. Like I'm here, So it's like now it's just for making stuff on like the internet, and so things and achievements and runways and things like that just like happen when you're naturally following that love that you have for something.
Great. And then, real quickly, how can we support you?
So my mom's pointing at the books. So yeah, like right now, like I'm still like struggling to make ends meet. I have a lot of outside success and like these things happening. I know I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be perfectly fine. That's what I've learned through this struggle, through this like journey of being an independent artist. So I know not everybody can afford thousands of dollars within like one piece, but that's why I created a book. If you guys want to purchase a book, they are available right now. If you want, you can support you. That's how I eat, and that's how I put a roof over my head. So if you want to support me, you can. And honestly, you don't have to. Like if you like, I don't want anybody to spend money that they don't have. So if you don't have it, do not. We all gotta eat. But I would just say too, like. Yeah, I mean, you can follow me or whatever if you enjoy my art and continue to see what's happening. But yeah, you can do whatever.
Great. Well, we're at time, but I do want to take 2 or 3 questions from the audience. If anybody wants to just shout one out, go for it.
Do you ever find something like ties and think, oh, I'm going to go do this, this is going to be great, but you can't find enough of them? How do you navigate that?
Actually, specifically with the tie. That's a good question. Specifically with the tie, I definitely ran into the problem. I was like, okay, like I don't have enough tie. Like I made a pair of pants and it was good. I had enough. And I was like, okay, like, I love the pants so much. I want to make a jacket. And so it's really just like reaching out to people, like maybe post on my Instagram story, like who has like ties. I literally did that. I was like, does anyone have ties I can buy from them or that they're trying to get rid of and stuff? And I'll do that, and some people will send me materials, or for the most part though, I'll literally just like, I'll take like a whole day and just go to thrift stores around the area and just like different places and garage sales and just like snacks and things I can. So it's kind of case to case different, but for the most part, thrift, just places that, scraps, of course, cool places like that in the city that are acceptable.
What about the opposite, where like you had an idea and you gathered a whole bunch of things, oh, I made a huge mistake.
That's every room in my house. My house is a hoard of fabric and clothes. But I think that actually just recently happened. I bought a bunch of puzzle pieces from the thrift store, and they were sitting in my house for like a year before I touched them. And then I finally, I was like, okay, I want to actually use these now. And so I made that hat and that pair of pants. And so I think, it definitely is becoming a challenge because I'm very limited on space. But it's nice to have that, like, those things surround you at all times so you can just, like, express yourself through. And that just happened. I was just like, okay, let's use the puzzle pieces. They've been on the shelf for a little too long. So yeah, that's kind of how it goes.
Do you ever do when you're working with something like this, using a new material, do you do test cases before you kind of solidify an idea and that's how I'm gonna approach it?
Yeah, so definitely I usually because I've done like a piece covered in wood and a piece covered in plastic and different things, so I'll definitely kind of test the application of that through this one I use zip ties, drill holes, use zip ties. It works well because the zip ties are plastic and then the keyboard piece plastic and it just kind of holds well. And also just like with the wood, I ended up like drilling them and then using thread for the wood. And so it kind of just depends on what the material is and stuff, and also just like I definitely kind of have a little bit. It's not too long. It's like I'll get an idea and then I'll do a little test on like a little sample, and if it's right, we'll get 6,500 keys.
Okay, one last question. Let's go over there.
I had a technical question about when you're making stuff for other people. Was that a learning curve for you to learn how to tailor to someone else's body versus buying a thrift store piece and covering it, or making something for yourself?
Yeah, I haven't really gotten too advanced into like specific tailoring for people. I think if people approach me, it's like the things that I have done are like kind of just like a pair of pants or a jumpsuit that doesn't need to be like fine, tailored. I know I do have confidence in the ability to like tailor to someone's fitting exactly how they would want, but it's not something I really run into a whole lot just because like I definitely try to prioritize making kind of the things that I like to make in that moment. But if someone does come to me and it's like what they're wanting is in alignment with what I'm doing, I'll definitely take that opportunity and tailor it to their needs and stuff. But it's just like it's definitely a challenge. When I was first kind of like doing customs, I was like, this isn't even that fun. I'm not like making like the things I want to right now. I want to spend this time doing what I really love and stuff. And so it's finding that balance of what excites me and maybe could also be exciting. Bringing someone in and helping out. So.
Well, let's give it up one more time for Cory. All right, we're wrapping up. I want to say thank you to our volunteers, everyone that did setup. It's going to help with tear down. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you to Cezanne, Mr. D's Donuts, Fashion Realty, and Messenger Coffee for supporting the